Welcome to Life Skills with Louie. I'm Louie. Today we're talking about mindful holding, which is a practice within somatic restructuring. If you haven't watched the introduction to this mini section, somatic restructuring, I encourage you to do that. Also, you're within the larger section of getting to great about self-care and building confidence. And there are two introductions to this section. One about mapping your experience, and the other about responding to your experience. And I encourage you to watch both of those. Finally, if you haven't watched the introduction to the entire video series, please do that to orient you to this video series and when to use each of the 5 sections of skills. To begin to talk about mindful holding, I settled on this word to describe a set of practices. I think it accurately describes what we're doing when we're doing these practices. And there's really 2 sections to it. First, I'm going to talk about literal holding. Being held has a huge effect on your body, your somatic experience, and can be an incredible way to respond to sensations that are distressing or that need support. There are many ways to be held. Of course, if you have the option to be held by someone, that is extremely powerful, to be held, to literally be in someone's arms. The more you can let go to it, the better. This could be a partner, this could be a friend. I encourage you to explore the experience of being held. Another way to be held is to be held by the ground, to lay on the ground and really have the intention of being held, feeling the ground holding you. Another way to be held is with something like a weighted blanket or number of blankets that are putting some weight on you. You can have that experience of being held, and that's quite powerful. So please explore that. And now to talk about the second, slightly more complex way of practicing holding. And this is about holding postures, holding muscles in some tension. In exercise terms, this could be called isometrics. There's also terms for it in qigong. It's a beginning practice to build concentration and energy. And I find it extremely helpful throughout the day, especially when my energy is somewhat low. But if I need to bring attention to a region of my body, I need to bring energy into the body. Holding is critical. First thing I want to say about this is that you may already be holding muscles in tension, but to do so consciously feels very different. If I'm simply standing and I am just unconsciously standing and my body's holding me upright, it feels very different than if I practice holding my body up. There's actually a profound practice of qigong, standing meditation, where you simply stand. That's it. But you learn to hold your body up with your muscles, consciously being aware of them, and it builds so much energy. If you want to explore this more, I recommend Ken Cohen's book, The Way of Qigong, which explains this in great detail. To simply and briefly explain this practice, to give you enough basics to start to practice it, I'm going to go into a few details. But before I do, I want to say that if you want to explore this more, yoga knows a lot about this. Qigong knows a lot about this. And anyone who practices energy practices might be able to help you with this as well. So with any muscle group, I'll use my arm as an example because it's easily seeable here. If I consciously hold it in a position where it's having slight tension, what happens, my experience is that it brings focus into my body. And as I do it for longer, I begin to notice a buildup of energy. And this is different than in connecting to calm when we're talking about paired muscle relaxation and we tense the muscle and relax it. Here we're simply activating it. We're consciously paying attention. And the more we bring mindfulness to this, the better. And what I will do is hold my certain muscles, whichever intuitively feel like they want to be held. I'll hold them in a position. It could be my arms. It could be holding my back in some tension. It could be any muscle of the body, legs, abdomen. And I'll do that for as long as feels intuitively comfortable. And then I'll release. And as I release the holding, I will generally feel more of a sense of embodiment, more of a sense of calmness and concentration, and some energy that is then available to me. So to bring attention again, just to say you could do this with any muscle group or many muscle groups, this holding of a position. You could even, if it is safe, bring balance into it and sort of bring more weight onto one leg. Hold it there. See what that does for your concentration. The key thing is to explore this practice of holding positions. To remind everyone about these mindfulness skills that you might bring to this practice of holding positions of the body with the muscles. Observe the muscle that you're holding. Observe how your body feels. Describe what you are noticing and do it in as clear language as possible. This muscle feels slightly tired. This muscle feels a bit of tension. Okay, if I relax it in that way, I could hold it with less tension. Participate with the experience. Be in it. Let go to simply trying this, playing with it. There's no right or wrong way. This is all about experiment and practice. Non-judgmentally, let go of any judgments that come up about how you're doing it. This is all about practice. You can get help to learn more, but you can begin to explore this practice of holding. One, mindfully focus. This naturally brings a sense of concentration because you're holding attention and it just brings your attention there. But when you find your mind wandering, come back to the practice. Effectively, always keep in mind why you are practicing this. For me, it clearly helps with my energy levels, helps me to feel more embodied, but listen to what your goals are and make sure it's in alignment with them and practice for that purpose of helping your goals. Listen to your intuition. Learn to listen to inner guidance as to which muscle areas to hold for how long and how to hold them. And as you practice this, if you begin to practice this, you will find more of a sense of gratitude for embodiment and for this very simple but powerful practice of holding poses, holding muscle groups in slight tension in order to build up energy and concentration. Thank you.